How to rectify the urgent issue of tax imbalance that's sinking hair and beauty businesses on the high street, including using the real-world examples that work in Ireland as we speak. In this video, 3 of 3, we're sharing our ideas and proposals of how to do this. A huge thank you for the support and the healthy debate around the previous 2 videos. If you've joined us for the first time, please do be sure to head back and check out those 2 for the full picture. Anyway, let's get into it. Part 3, the disastrous outcome of tax imbalance in the hairdressing and beauty business and how to help the industry. The disastrous outcome of tax imbalance. VAT and PAYE registered employers being forced out of business. As you can see from earlier presentations, the tax imbalance not only with other high street retail businesses, but between different salon business models forces salon owners to change business model, make drastic cuts, or close entirely. Many millions of unpaid COVID debt will be unpaid by businesses unnecessarily forced to close. Other outcomes are that apprenticeships are on the brink, 70% down since pre-COVID, with 95% of salon owners preferring apprenticeship trained workers. However, apprentices have nowhere to go as employers shut down. Many salon owners report a waiting list of apprentices but can't afford to take them on. Business owners have no choice but to change business model and move people out of employment. Not only to avoid VAT, but the employment costs such as employers' national insurance, maternity pay, paternity pay, pensions and holiday, and so on. This also forces prices down, creates an ever-decreasing spiral, is destroying apprenticeships, and is hugely anti-growth. It holds great businesses back from growing because there is such a clamour to stay below the VAT threshold. And you can't really blame anyone for trying to do that, especially when you see the earlier videos and just how much it costs a hairdressing business to go over that threshold. What the government can do for us, we've really got to look at our industry and industries that add value through labour in a completely different light. What we need is HMRC clear guidelines. They were promised for our industry in mid-2023 to be delivered by November 23, and there has been no sign of these guidelines and assets. It's absolutely imperative that HMRC come forward with clear guidelines that are easily understood by the industry. A removal of the ambiguity by allowing the industry a clear view of what is and what is not allowed with tax avoidance. The ambiguity and the things we see in social media every day of people asking advice of each other. We need clarity and we need it to come from one clear source. For us, a wider understanding of the government guidelines that are already agreed, VTax Per 69100, search that exactly without any spaces and you'll come up in your Google search. A clearly agreed document with government and clearly states what is self-employment, what isn't, what is a business, what isn't, and gives you a strong idea of where you should be pointed. And a clear definition of worker status, something that the Labour government have promised on. What is and what is not employment and what is self-employment. We need all these things for clarity in our industry. So in our negotiations with Department for Business, HMRC and government and so on, there's a lot of things that have come up. And one of those was the Department for Business and Trade promising to give clear business comparisons. That was promised in mid-2023 and we still haven't seen it. We need to get clear comparisons so that government have a clarity around the difference for different businesses in our industry and the different amounts of tax that we pay as an industry that give us an unfair disadvantage. So what are we asking for? We're asking for a full review of VAT and the tax implications on different business models for fair growth, reducing or abolishing VAT for hair and beauty businesses. We see it's the only fair way to go. There needs to be a full review of this. The revered tax specialist Dan Needle from taxpolicy.org.uk is somebody that campaigns and champions fairness in tax. He is absolutely for VAT being a target area for government to give fairness across the board. And as we know, hairdressing needs that more than anything. For us, a rejection of the idea of a tapered VAT system, which would exacerbate problems felt keenly across all industries and further complicate one of the most complicated tax systems in the world. It would exacerbate problems because it would actually widen the division between different and differing business models, and it would be a continuation of that desperation to stay below VAT threshold. We need a reduction in VAT, and we need it soon. A full review of the apprenticeship system and an understanding that, in the opinion of salon owners, that this is the only way into hairdressing, and the differences between apprentices in our industries and in other industries, and the financial implications of such. We need a full review of that. We need to understand the difference between college and apprentices, cost versus earnings, understand that what salons do is actually provide an education for people, and therefore we need the support that the education system is given to educate these young people in our salons. It seems crazy that people get the best education, get the best opportunity of a job, and yet the person giving them education is being priced out of the market when it comes to bringing those people through. The other really, really important thing that government must do, you must discuss the living wage and minimum wage with industry employers first. Industry employers are the people that know the implications of this. If the tax imbalance and fairness across high street retail business is not tackled first, then the only option for businesses would be to go self-employed or follow the self-employed model and increase the problems that we already discussed here, and the vicious spiral downwards will continue. We need to be able to sort our own problems out, and we need a balance across those systems. We don't want a hard enforcement of the rules by HMRC. We want the knowledge to be given to the industry and the rules put in place to make it equal across all business models, so that we can grow our fantastic industry to the place it deserves to be. While supporting the idea of minimum wage, if this is simply unaffordable for salon owners, then it will be counterproductive, and it will actually exacerbate all the already existing problems. You really must see that before deciding on minimum wage. Of course, everyone should earn a living wage. Of course, people should have a living wage. But at the end of the day, if it's impossible to pay because of the tax system you've already got, then the problems are just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Most of all, though, across all of these videos, the most important message for government and the most important message for the people deciding our future is treat our industry with respect and take us seriously.